Alrighty, that ought to be all of the tabs I need to open. Hold up, where's my screen? There I am. Haha. There we go. Cool. Cool. Alright. Cool, cool. Alright. Okay, so. Hi. Hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, we're here. We're going to do some writing. It's the beginning of the week. It's Monday. It'd be easy to be downtrodden today, but damn it, we're going to do some cool stuff. We're going to have some fun with some D&D writing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's hard to be too upset when that's what you got sitting in front of you here. So that's what I am going to be doing today, and we're going to pick back up right where we left off. We've been working on adding the details to sort of the big overarching, well, the biggest overarching mission within this region. This sort of the area of the world that we've been working on. I suppose I can pull up the map and show that off right here. Got it zoomed in a little bit there. So here's our regional map that we were working on here. Wow, that's a big jump for zooming right there. I guess we can do that and just kind of move. So we've been working on this area. And you can see we've got our kind of rough map all laid out here. So I think what we're going to do is just keep on going. We're kind of going through the stepwise process here of adding details to a lot of things, sort of editing names of places and all that kind of stuff, so we can turn this into a more I don't know, realistic isn't quite the right word, because it's not like I'm creating a real existing map. This is all fantasy fiction and everything, but you know what I mean. Something that looks more believable is maybe what I'm looking for here. Hey, fanboy, how's it going? Good morning to you too. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. But yeah, so we're just kind of working on some details, and like I say, just kind of as we're going, renaming things. I pretty much want to rename most of these areas here so that they all have a name that would be believable as someone within this universe writing a map. You know, and a lot of those, as a result, a lot of them probably won't even have a name per se, because they're just things, and I'll probably just leave a marker there so people can see that, and then we can go, yeah, so players can sort of know where to go about things. Oh, shit. My cat's freaking out. We've got the windows open. It's really nice outside today. So the windows are open, which means she is just having a blast chasing birds and squirrels up and down the length of the apartment as they show up. Question, what do you got for me, fanboy? Let's see here. It must have been a different one. I don't remember us working on that kind of stuff. I definitely have, especially like Durgar type stuff within this world, but I don't believe I've streamed any of that, so that must have been a different one. Must have been a different one. Sounds pretty badass, though. Be down for that. But yeah, so that's what we're working on here. And we left off last time. We had started working on. No, you don't gotta apologize. It would be very egotistical of me to think that I'm the only streamer of value that you would watch. I think it's absolutely awesome that you have a lot of different streamers that you like watching. Because I do the same. I don't sit around and watch myself stream. God, can you imagine how egotistical you'd have to be to like only watch yourself? Like, it's one thing if you if you watch back some of your old stuff, so that way you can like try and find ways to improve or something like that. But can you imagine just like sitting there and all you do is just watch yourself and be like, yeah, that was a pretty good job by me. I did that pretty well. God, that would be. I feel like someone like that would be pretty tough to be around. At any rate, so we started working on this, and we have, if I'm remembering properly, we had pretty much filled out all of like the general details that we had been working on with this, as well as here we have our sort of rough map, our rough map outline, and we were going to add some stuff from here. So there's one thing that I thought of immediately with this map that I don't know if there's going to be an easy way for me to have to start buying larger hats. Yeah, seriously. But yeah, the one thing that I kind of realized is I had set this up when we had first kind of gone with this layout. The idea had been because like the mill itself, right? Because it's a mill and we'd have like a water wheel, and the water wheel would kind of be here because the idea is that the river kind of flows underneath these buildings. We kind of had to work around so it doesn't really look like that. But I don't know how I'm gonna put the imagery of the wheel on there. Let me just try. Like if we just do. Yeah, see, like there's pillars and stuff, which would actually be kind of cool. But I don't know. Let me try doing. Oops. Let's see here. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, fanboy. I was thinking if there's like long stairs or something like that. No, not chairs. God damn, this stupid idiot search thing. Okay, here we go. So we got some steps of sorts. So if we do this and rotate it, and we could do just like a long, going along there and just find some way to do. Yeah, okay. So if we do like, if we do it like that, even if we do two like this, that right there. Stairs shorter on the ends. Oh yeah, like make the lines shorter. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I think I can resize things. Like we can like shrink them. Hey, Nicey, how's it going? Good evening. Golly, nah, it's morning where I am, but I assume it's evening where you are. So good evening to you too. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a way to resize things. I think maybe if I do this, and then that's gonna grab the whole thing. It's only gonna let me do the whole item. Bummer. Oh, now it looks all hideous. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. So and we might just have to settle for this. It's not perfect, but nice. Yeah, glad to hear you got a session in. That's awesome. I'm wondering. Yeah, I mean that looks okay. That looks believable enough. That looks believable enough. And now I want to. Okay, now I'm gonna search for just like logs, because what I had thought. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, it's a cage. It's not what I'm looking for. Because it's a dog kind of like log that way. I was thinking if we could have like long logs or something like that. Pillars maybe or something like that. I was hoping to have logs to like have it connect into the system here, right? Because it's got to turn something. That's the whole point of it. It's got to turn something. 15 wolves. That's definitely quite the battle. That's quite the battle. But hey, I'm sure it was entertaining, right? I wonder if I can just like layer this below everything so you don't see the branches. No, that doesn't look right. I wonder if. Let me see here. Let me just try something here. Deck or dock. I want to see if they just have like. What's this? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Because now I'm wondering if we can like put some doors there and just like have there be like a deck or something that people would stand on that's outdoors, so that it would disguise the fact that we don't have all of the components that we would need necessarily, and then we can like have in. I'm thinking in here. Oops. I'm thinking. God, go away, you stupid log. I don't want you anymore. I'm thinking we could have in here be like all of the spinning mechanisms like underneath the building or something like that is where all of the mechanics and stuff would go, just so we can kind of hand wave it away and be like, yeah, no, it's totally a mill. It totally spins stuff. Let me see here. Object. Wonder if I would just want to do flooring here. Pattern shape. We could just do some extra flooring and just have it be like an outside without walls. What does that look like? I mean, that's different enough. That we could probably get away with that. That's not terrible, is it? Probably get away with that. Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to balance it. If you have some NPCs to help them out for sure. Hold on. Where's my? Just want to get rid of that, actually. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness. Okay, fine. We'll do it the undo way. I wish it would let me do, like, halfway so we could, like, almost have, like, a barrier. Or like a buffer, I should say, so we can clearly see that it's like a dock and there's ground underneath and it's outside. So otherwise I'm worried that it just looks like a room with the walls knocked down or something like that. And if we just do it like a little bit shorter, and we do it like to there, there's like a dock, because then it would be like the wheel mechanisms and stuff would go underneath there. I guess that doesn't look too terrible. And then what we got to do here is I need to, is there like a, how am I gonna delete? Oh, there we go. Delete that and delete that, and we can put a door right there that goes out to it. That would be bad. Oh yeah, nice. It sounds like you got a pretty balanced party there. That's cool. That's real cool. Let's see here. Door. Oh wait, no, because I don't. I need to go into here. The building, portal tools. Here's our doors. These are the doors we've been using. Just put a door like right there. Put a door right there. Yeah. Yeah, see? Okay, I don't mind that. That looks okay. It's not exactly what I had kind of in my brain, but at the flip side of it is, too, the thing that I need to probably think about is the fact that from top down, it's never really going to look particularly distinct anyway, because we have wooden floors all over the place. So I suppose I can just accept it and be content with the way it is. But yeah, so that's not bad. And then, like I say, we can kind of just have that as a way to hand wave the fact that we don't have our sort of like pillars and supporting structures per se that you would obviously expect when there's like a mill with a water wheel and stuff like that. We can just kind of like hand wave that away. I'm not a super big fan of that necessarily, but you know, when we're working with limitations based on the software, you kind of got to do what you got to do, right? And we can just have that and just tell the players like, no, that's not actually something you can walk on, and they'll just have to accept that and move on with their lives. But yeah, that works. That works. I think that'll work out just fine. Oops, wait, hold up. There we go. Yeah. And then, so what I want to do then is now, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like I say, I think this room is going to, just in terms of appearance, be the room where it's like all of the stuff, like what the mill would like operate on, you know, all of the spinning objects and stuff. I think they would go in that area there. So let's go into our object tool. Let's search for pillar. Oh, God, it's like all these things that are not pillars. Oh, here we go. See, if we take this. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to do that. And then I want to take this pillar. And what I want to do is I'm going to put it there, and we're going to resize it. Here's how we can kind of hotwire this a little bit. Resize. Oops, that's too big. That's not as big as I wanted it. I wanted it to be more like right there. So we can center that. And then, oops, I gotta but if we do like a large one, ritual circle. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ritual circle looking ones, that's for sure. But I wanted to do, let's see, more pillars. Oh shoot, I gotta hit enter. One of the weird quirks about this thing is you gotta like research it even if it's still in the search bar. I wanted to do that, and then I wanted to put that like right there. So let's just grab this one here, move that to center. So that kind of looks like a mill type of thing. But now I'm wondering though. Wait, hold on. It won't let me do it with the arrow keys to fine tune the positioning of it. Okay, that looks okay. That looks okay. We'll accept that. And then on into here. Again, search pillars. I'm wondering if we can put like just like a big giant stone slab underneath all of it. I might have to, I gotta figure out how to like relayer things too. We can take this, and I'm thinking if we do that, and then we can, there we go, we can send it to back there, and then grab it and then kind of recenter it, just visually speaking. Oh, not quite, not quite. That looks pretty acceptable. There we go. Okay, that looks kind of like some sort of mill-ish type structure. You know, close enough anyway. And we'll add a lot more debris and stuff because this is a run-down, largely abandoned location. Well, there we go. That's just that was kind of on my mind to try and figure that out a little bit, because it's supposed to be like a mill, and it didn't have anything to signify that it was a mill. So if we do this, I think that looks okay. I think that looks okay. Yeah, I'll accept that. Okay, so we've got all of our basic framework and stuff figured out. We know what enemies we're going to be using and everything like that. And then in here, that's right. And we decided to ditch out on the downtime, like if they're going to take a long rest, all of the risks and stuff that could happen there. We decided to skip out on that. Because the nature of this mission is it's going to be, again, it's kind of more of a chase type situation rather than like a dungeon crawl. So I don't suspect there's going to be many situations in which they're trying to, you know, be meticulous and slow about things. They're going to be moving kind of quickly is sort of the idea here. But let's go ahead and think about our rooms here. So the first one, the quote-unquote guarded entrance. Well, okay, hold on. I'm actually going to grab my dice here. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to grab out my dice because I like to, it's like we did with the last one, I like to sort of randomly assign our rooms, so that way things are a little mixed up. It's not like it's always the same pattern about what room is going to be in what region of the dungeon. So as I just slowly take my time here. Where's it? There's a D10. All right, we're gonna take ourselves a D10. We got the lime green one going on here. This one was actually kind of cool. This was a gift from a past coworker when I left a previous job, and it was in the health department. So she picked that one because it looked. She knew I played D&D, and she found these ones because she thought they looked like toxic sludge. Hey, Bard Creative, how's it going? Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too. So yeah, all right. So let's just quickly assign all these rooms. One thing. Oops. Yeah, one thing that is definitely going to happen. I want the text color to be white. I think that's always easier to see. There we go. Oops. Shit. Okay, there we go. So I think it's just always easier to see. And now I know this room right here. This one is going to be our room number 1, because that's the entrance. It's the main entrance. That's where the sort of quote-unquote guarded entrance is going to be. I'm going to put that right there. So now for the rest of these rooms, we'll just kind of randomly assign them in terms of what types of dangers. The only thing that I might do, I'm actually thinking well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Let's randomly assign them, and then we can always readjust them later if we need to. So let's see here. Let's do this room right here, right next to it. Let's see what that one is going to be. There's room number 4, according to the almighty dice. And this one right here is going to be room number 9. Let's see here. This one will be room number 10, which is going to be largely meaningless because room 10 is always the safe room and it just won't really play a role. This one I just rolled. We'll make it, well, I guess we're kind of going up. We'll make it this one. This one's room number 7. Although actually, wait, hold on a second. I have an idea. Well, a fledgling idea. It's a little baby idea. It's a little tiny baby idea. Look at my numbers here. Marker 7 is the puzzle room always. Room number 7 is our puzzle room. So I actually think I want to make room number 7 this room, because I think it'd be cool if the puzzle somehow included figuring out a way to reactivate the mill. And it's like it can be unrelated to the chase largely, and the puzzle is just like, maybe if they find a way to reactivate the mill, they can unlock some sort of treasure or something fun, and do it that way. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And then it's like, if they go down underneath the building to repair the mill or something along those lines, I think that'd be fun. So I want that to be the puzzle room. I'm decreeing, as God of this world, I can decide. I have the power. No one can tell me otherwise. And thus my descent into madness begins. Okay, so this room up here is instead going to be room number 5. Let's do this. Let's do this little guy right here. That little room. That little room is going to be number 8. I'm surprised we have not gotten a double yet. That little room right there is going to be number 6. We have not gotten 6 yet either. This one will be 3. Do we have room number 3? We don't have room number 3. Holy shit, did I just roll all the rooms without a single repeat? I feel like that in and of itself right there is a sign that I'm probably a sorcerer of some sort without realizing it. It's like wild magic, right? I don't have any idea what I'm doing. I just kind of do it. Alright, so this one's going to be room number 2. I did it! Okay, so now we got all of our rooms assigned. And so now we can start just sort of one room at a time, adding some details both in terms of writing it and in terms of mapping it out, as I like to do, and as is always fun to do. So, let's see here. So we've got all of this good to go. Oops, shoot, I did the thing that I always do where I forget that I'm still typing, so I hold space because it's the hotkey to move the map. But as I'm doing that, it's adding spaces to whatever text thing I was doing. Which really throws off all of the box grabs and everything like that. Okay, so there we go. So there's our there is our rooms. And I think that's good. I think that's real good. So, let's go ahead and think about our guarded entrance. Now the guarded entrance isn't going to be much of an obstacle, honestly, for for this dungeon. The guarded nature of it is going to be, when they first enter, they'll confront the Eladrin, who's eventually going to be like the big bad for this mission storyline that we're working on right now. And so the guarded entrance is really going to just be them confronting him in some way, shape, or form, and then him sort of running away, essentially is what it is. And the way I think I'm going to have it be is, who doesn't have spacebar problems, Bard? Who doesn't? Don't we all? Don't we all? I like the concept of that because it just makes me think of like, oh man, who doesn't have problems with the space bar? And like it's like a science fiction society where it's like some guy is getting like his ass thrown out of a bar that's in space, right? But like it's in space. So they basically just airlock him and he goes flying into the abyss because he was a little drunk and bumped into someone or something like that. I don't know. That was a bit of a dot to connect there, but that's where my head went. At any rate, yeah. So the entryway for this one, the sort of quote entrance, is going to be them confronting and talking with the Eladrin, and sort of them starting to understand like, oh, there's something afoot here. This guy is a bit of a dickhead. So I'll need to figure out how to like subtly have him kind of do the supervillain thing, where it's like, let me explain my master plan for you, and like, but without actually doing that, because I hate that trope so goddamn much. It's like one of the things I can't stand about a lot of, like, as much as I love anime, it's one of the things that will immediately make me roll my eyes and take off like 2 out of 5 stars for how much I like it, is if the bad guy spends too much time just explaining everything. Because it's like, fucking just like leave something to the imagination. Let me be smart enough to figure it out on my own, right? So I don't want to do that to the players, but we do need to give them a reason to think this guy is a credible threat and be invested in continuing to chase after him and stuff. So we know he's after the queen. I mean, probably what I'll do is I'll just have him blather on about like his beliefs about how it's like, you and your queen think you're so clever trapping me here, but one day I'll kill all of you and find my way home, or something like that. Just have him like drop something like really ominous but also psychotic, so that way they just kind of get the idea that it's like, oh, this guy's unhinged but also dangerous, and that will encourage them. And so what he's gonna do is then he'll like escape deeper into this, because my thought is that like he does have some magical prowesses, but I don't know, like suspension of belief, right? Like it's not, I can't have him just like teleport from in there, because that would be like, as if he did that, then they would be all like, oh, well, he teleported, I guess we better leave. But if it's something like he's there, but then like runs deeper in because he's got his cronies there, that'll kind of get the players to home alone that shit and start running through, right? Like that's what I want to do, is I want to goad them into chasing after him. Because the thing is I don't think it'll be a problem convincing players to chase this guy, because players absolutely fucking love chasing after people just for the sake of getting a few slash and grab the loot situations going. So I don't think it will be hard, but if there is a clever and discerning group, I want them to not be like, this seems like it would be pointless for us to spend much time in an old rusty busted down mill, let's leave. Because that's what smart people would do, right? Like, oh, if he leaves. So it's like, I don't want him to teleport out. I want him to run deeper. And I'm wondering if, like, the motivation to do that is, like, he's got his little army, so he's going to run in deeper. And maybe it's like he spent so much time. Maybe his motivation is just that he spent so much time brainwashing all of his little army cronies there that he wants to try and go get them to defend him and then, like, maybe try and escape with them. And then he'll just teleport as a last resort when he sees that too many people are dying and that he might be next. So maybe that'll be our thing. It's a little ham-fisted, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So just as a baseline description here, the, quote, guarded nature of this dungeon is that when players, let's see here, players first enter, they will find the Eladrin, who will be surprised, angry, surprised, angry, and a little rude. Let's see here. Oh yeah, if they do hold person or misty step, something like that. I mean, I feel like because we're gonna have the dungeon filled with a bunch of lackeys, the best thing is he will sort of like be talking with them, and then as soon as they start showing any sign of being aggressive, he'll just yell, and we can just, if they, you know, if worse comes to worse, we can just have like all kinds of other his guards that are hiding deeper in come out to run interference, right? Because it's like that's kind of the nature of this one, is there's going to be a lot of enemies around because he's got his little army. And the thing that I find is that if there are enough people, they will probably let that kind of stuff drop so that he can escape. The other thing too is he is a final boss, so and who has studied magic. So I could definitely also just give him counterspell, so that way it like informs players that this guy is pretty powerful, probably above their level when they encounter him at this point in time too, and just have him get away, because his attitude then could be something along the lines of like, you're not worth my time, I'm not going to waste my time fighting you guys, I'll let my cronies do it. We could also do something like that. You know, the trick is just kind of balancing his weird attitude and finding a way to right him so that he would not just do that in the first place. So I don't know, it takes a little, like I say, it's a little ham-fisted, but you know, I mean, I'm trying to tell a story here, you know, and sometimes you just gotta use movie magic for writing the story. You can't always have it be 100% realistic. That's why horror movies can exist at all. It's because sometimes you just don't have the characters behave in realistic ways. As evidenced by, I watched Midsummer yesterday. I I can't decide if I liked that movie or didn't like that movie. I won't get into it beyond just saying that movie really relied on a lot of stupid people making bad decisions, as they always seem to. But at any rate, so let's see. So the guard nature of the dungeon is that when players first enter, they'll find the Eladrin who will be surprised, angry, and a little rude. Let's see here. Sub bullets. He'll go on some rant about eventually killing. We'll just say everyone in Bepimat so he can break the I don't know, we'll say break the curse you've put on me and I can finally go home. Like I say, we'll just give him some sort of weird psychotic rant that really doesn't make any sense at all. The fun thing about that too is like it might just add a little bit of like accidental nuance to the mission, because I could totally see, at least in my groups, I could totally see the players reading a little too much into his rant and be like, oh my god, is someone actually cursing him? Who would do this? And then seeing them like spend days just in the city trying to investigate who would be doing this. And I think that would be hilarious, because it would just be 100% them chasing absolutely nothing. And I think that'd be hilarious. But yeah, we'll do that. And actually, you know what? That would actually be a really good thing. They could, if they did that, they could go back and I could have them interact with Gregor, the guy from the first one that they're chasing down, from the first mission in this, or the first dungeon in this whole mission storyline. They could talk with him, and while he's like slowly being healed from his brainwashing, he can talk about like things he remembers overhearing about how the guy is convinced that he's being, you know, cursed and kept here, but that he's clearly a raving maniac that doesn't actually know what reality is anymore. So that would be kind of an interesting thing. But at any rate, for right here, right now, he'll go on some rant about eventually killing everyone in Bepimat so he can, quote, break the curse you put on me and I can finally go home. If players make any sort of attempt to grab or harm him, he will run deeper into the mill so that his mini army of brainwashed dudes can fight his battles for him. He'll eventually just teleport out. You know what I'm going to do here, actually? I don't want to create too many inconsistencies before I even get started, so I'm going to do... I want to pull up the Summer Eladrin here. And I want to see what kind of magic he does have any sort of access to. Because it's not going to baseline give him magic. Because I was thinking I would probably just end up making a character sheet for him. Because he's got magic resistance. Gives him advantage on face step. So maybe it's rather than teleporting, he'll just like face step across the river or something like that and make a run for it, and he'll just kind of keep doing that. We can have it that way, because I don't know, like I'm not opposed to homebrewing and editing things to fit scenarios, but at the same time, the closer I can keep him to the rules as written, the less bitching I'll hear from my players when they feel like he's overpowered. My players aren't actually all that bad about that. My players are always ultimately accepting of whatever I do, but they definitely in both games they definitely have the knee-jerk reaction of like any time an enemy does anything, their immediate reaction is like, what, they can't, you know, like it's always this immediate like just absolute, they're so affronted that the enemy would be capable at all And my joke whenever they do that is always like, oh, you're right, it's too hard. You know what, why don't we just take out all the enemies all together? Why don't we just say you guys saved the world and end the game right here, right now? Take out all of the challenges. And then we all laugh and they shut the fuck up. But, okay, so we're doing that. So we'll just go ahead and say that he'll use his face step. And what we can do is, because he's going to be so much more difficult than what the players are intended to be, at least when they enter this, we'll just say that he... I mean, he's got his magical resistance and all that kind of stuff. And as far as the recharge for it goes, it says recharge 4 to 6. We can just kind of, because he's never going to be part of the combat anyway, say that he's using all of his magical energy or whatever to just like kind of get all the face steps that he wants, and we can just have him escape that way. Because that's, I mean, really at this point in time, like I say, it's a little cheesy that way, but we're trying to establish that he is the villain. But he's going to get away this time because he is just much more powerful than what the players are. So he'll eventually just face step, let's say, across the river so that players won't be able to easily chase him while also fending off all of the cronies that are after them. Alright, okay, it's not going to accept cronies. Okay, we're going to call them toadies then. All of the toadies. There we go. It'll accept that. There we go. So yeah, so that's really what the guarded entrance is. It's not even particularly guarded. Like I say, the idea of the guarded entrance is really more so just as a way to definitively say that, okay, they are in the dungeon, and like sort of all of the stuff in the dungeon that could happen is now activated. So if there's anything like timed about the dungeon, that clock starts ticking. You know, if there are monsters that are intended to be wandering monsters, or in this case guards that are at the ready, they're now activated, right? It's just really meant to be sort of a definitive, like, this is happening. You guys have made the active decision to enter this map, this area, and now you have to deal with whatever consequences befall you because of that decision. Is what I always do. So, yeah, and we're just going to do that. I'm not going to put any sort of reward or anything like that in here. It's just like that. What I guess what I will say is, let's see here. Well, no, I'm going to leave that as is. We're going to leave that as is. So markers 2 through 6 are always the combat ones. So here's where we can basically just plop down all of the enemies that we're going to use. So let's see what rooms we have that are going to. So it's 2 through 6. So 6 is kind of where the biggest baddest guy is. I'm wondering, that actually kind of works out well too, because what we can do is we can have the chase be like they go through here, go through either here, there, or there and there. I can just kind of do that and you know, as I want. Goes through here, and then the Eladrin runs out to the deck, right, and immediately, like, the first thing they'll encounter really is the boss. Like, they'll run in here, the Eladrin will call for help. Some of the enemies out of 4 will run out after them, and they can handle that battle. And then 8 is its own thing. And then they get to, like, 8 is where there's a twist always. So maybe what we can do is they try to go through there, and maybe he's, like, set up a trap that'll, like, collapse that floor, so they have to do some sort of athletics check to jump over and get through the door. You can do something kind of like that. And then in 6 is where the boss is, and then 3 and 2 are just where there are more enemies. So basically what I can do is I can utilize those as just like the lazier or more bitch ass of the enemies that are just sort of hiding back there and will eventually come out and fight. But like, just in terms of the sort of the cadence of how it goes. So hold on, wait, let me slow down and take stock. So we have enter here, Eladrin runs through that door. Players chase, Eladrin shouts, and baddies hiding in room 4 come in. Fight ensues here in room number 9. After that, you know, once they handle that however they want to, they go through here, and they'll see, like, maybe through the door. Either they can go through there or through there, either way. But as soon as a door opens to 8, they see Eladrin standing right over there, and he pulls, like, some sort of tripwire or something that will then cause the the floor to collapse here. Give them a challenge to get through, because 8's always our challenge room. Our twist room, I should say. And so the twist can just be an extra challenge, right? So then they can go in there and do that. Once they navigate that, they get over there. That's where the boss battle is, and that's where we're going to have the Orug that we had talked about being the main villain of this dungeon. And while that's going, maybe they can see the Eladrin standing on the deck outside the door. You know, he's a little insane, so maybe he's just kind of like standing there like, you know, like, oh, like, yeah, like hoping that the Orug is going to kill them. And then when they eventually triumph over the Orug, he's going to be like, oh shit, and he'll like jump and climb up there, and then he'll use that as a vantage point to just sort of face step across the river, which would be up there. You know, and he'll, of course, give some sort of like, you'll never cake me alive speech or some shit before he face steps away. And he face steps across the river, and they can watch him running away. And it's like maybe at that point in time, actually, you know, it'd be really funny, is if he does that and doesn't really even think about it, and there's enemies in there, and they see him face step away, and they see that they're abandoned and trapped in this thing, so that they're like immediately at this point in time, if players want to like explore the rest of this mill, they go in and they see various enemies like trying to escape through the windows or something like that. We could do it that way, because they're just completely like bitch ass people who maybe like their brainwashing isn't quite complete. Hey Spooky, how's it going? Glad to see you. So we could do something like that. And so it's just like, once they handle the boss battle here, then everything kind of transforms into a more standard dungeon crawl, because that's when they can decide to explore up around in here, because there's more enemies there. You know, we could do it that way. And here's where there's going to be a puzzle with some reward or something like that. I think that'll work. I think that'll work, and that'll make it interesting. And that way there's like, you know, still stuff to explore. And again, it'll make the world feel a bit more real and a little less intentionally designed just to give players challenges. Like, I don't like when the world feels like it only exists for the sake of revolving around the players. I like my worlds to be a bit more like, yeah, no, it's a real place that just like the players and their enemies are just existing in. You know, so it's like if we do stuff like that and there's still stuff to explore, even if the Eladrin escapes, then they can do that. Or they can just ignore the rest of it if they want to. Like, that's totally within their prerogative. They're 100% welcome to do that. So, but yeah, I like that cadence. I like that flow. I think things will work. So room number 2. Let's go back to our notes here. Room number 2. 2 is a combat. So for this one, so we need to come up with a combat that's going to be pretty easy. Let's get rid of all of this stuff and just be ready to rewrite. Let's see, room number 2. Enemies. So oops, enemies. So there's going to be enemies here, and so I'd just like to list out the exact enemies, so that way once I'm actually in the virtual tabletop, because I don't put the enemies in here, I need them to be interactable objects rather than stationary parts of the map. So once I get into the virtual tabletop, whenever we're going to use this map, that's when I'll drop the enemies into place. So I always like to have a quick and easy list to find and know exactly what enemies I need to drop in. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to one of my favorite tools here. Oh wait, no, not Donjon. We need, it's still one of my favorite ones, but we need Kobold Fight Club, which is just really good for coming up with a generalized, like a rough guesstimate, difficult, like level of challenge difficulty for a combat. You can just go ahead and do random easy. And it's got like all enemies there, so we can just do random easy, right? And so we have 6 1/8 level enemies, and we can just basically do this until we see a combination that matches the challenge difficulty of any of our enemies that we already have planned here. So we do have bandits planned as part of our enemies here, so we're just going to say this one has 6 bandits, and then I'm going to actually know what we're going to do. We're just going to copy and paste this. It's the easiest way to do it, because again, the more places you have the stuff that you need, the less time you spend searching for it during a session. So it is always advantageous to just be very redundant in what you do. So there's 6 bandits that we would need to drop in this area. And that's real easy. You know, that's a nice easy one. Yes, again, this dungeon is sort of slated to be a reasonable challenge for 5 level 2 players. Is essentially what I'm going for here. So enemies, that's what exists there. Let's see here. These bandits are whiny little babies that haven't been brainwashed well. They are in this room essentially hiding from any responsibilities or expectation that they'll fight at all. So yeah, they're just hiding there. Like I say, in the pathway that that's basically going to be taken here is players come in, go through there, chase ensues to here, and goes out there. So we have this region and this region that are largely going to be untouched by the actual story that's happening in this dungeon. So if all of these guys are way up there, they're just being little bitch-ass punks, and then it'll be like, we'll do something like one of them will see the Eladrin through there, see him teleport, and they can see him through there. So once he teleports, these guys will probably like have them all start trying to leave. And if they're aware that there was combat, which I'm sure they would be, why wouldn't they be? There's so much noise happening. They'll try and leave out the windows, or if for some reason there isn't any combat, they'll maybe try to leave through those doors, and then there's confrontation. Is what I'm thinking to do with these guys. So let's see here. Let's see here. If I actually will say when the Eladrin makes his escape, these guys will be scared and offended. They will immediately try to leave, either through the door if they aren't aware of any danger, or through the windows if they are. So we'll just have them do that. That's a real easy thing to do. Yeah, I don't know. I always try to make my enemies at least somewhat intelligent. So there we go. That's a pretty smart thing. If I were like poorly brainwashed and not actually fully 100% for the cause, I would probably avoid fighting, and if it became a life and death situation, I would probably just peace out. Like, I don't know that I would hang out. I don't know that there are many causes that I would feel comfortable putting my life on the line for. Not many of those come up for most people day to day. So the only other thing I always like to do is just list out any rewards that the players are going to get from this. In this case, it's mostly going to be the experience. So that's going to be, quick math, 150 XP to split. I always specify to split. That's how I remember to have my players not all take all of that experience. Otherwise, they'll all be level 20 by like 4 sessions in. So I always do that. Let's see here. On the bandits will be various bits of crappy armor. Crappy with 3 P's, man. That's how shitty their stuff is. Various bits of crappy armor. We'll also say on the bandits is a total of, I don't know, we'll give them 7 gold, the total for all of them together. So if players do fight them and they do want to go full on corpse robbing, they can feel free to do that. That's their prerogative. That's their hell to earn. So yeah, so that gives us room 2. So let's go ahead and just sort of add some ambiance to this room here. So the mill itself is, I mean, a mill itself is pretty boring in general. It's mostly going to be like storage and spare wood and stuff like that. So I'm just going to do lots of like stacked and broken logs and stuff. So maybe we'll do like a whole lot of stacked up logs this way. Right, if we do that, there's like a big log pile that's all stacked up there. maybe with a few logs like scattered around. I don't know what they would have that for at the mill. I don't know. Like, fuck. Fuck, who knows, right? Who cares? Just trying to add some decorations here. How big are these rocks? Just have like a couple random rocks, like a couple random pieces of rubble. Like, I don't know. It's an abandoned building. Who cares? What's this stuff? Stalagmites? No, that's not quite right. Okay, hold on. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna search for broken. See what kind of broken stuff they give me. Broken pots. There we go. We can add a couple broken pots around. I think that seems appropriate. Broken chairs need to be in place as well. We'll do broken chairs surrounding a broken table. There we go. Let's see here. I want one more. Here we go. One more broken chair. There we go. Do that. It's just like a whole bunch of broken and stuff. Do a kind of DM am I? I mean, I feel like I try to make it halfway in between those two. Oops, kicking my desk and making everything shake. I try to find a balance between the two. I'm not afraid to let things be a challenge if it's a challenge. But I don't make things difficult just for the sake of doing it. I like my players to enjoy their time, and with D&D, especially because, like, I guess the big thing is what kind of DM am I? I'm the DM that puts narrative as the primary thing. So it doesn't really serve the narrative of a fantasy, like a high fantasy thing in most settings. It doesn't serve the narrative to have players dead more than they're alive. So I try to avoid anything that's going to be too much in the way of, like you say, Dark Souls for things. Because I don't want my players to feel like they're spending more time trying to revive their friends through, like, finding the wish spell and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want my players to feel like things have been handed to them. So I do try to make sure that there are at least potentially challenging combats in any dungeon that they go into. But because everything is more narratively based, I do tend to have a lot of things. I do tend to have a lot of things, a lot of challenges be more puzzle based and all that kind of stuff. Dark Souls isn't unfair. Okay, maybe poor choice of words. You understand what I mean, though. Like, Dark Souls goes out of its way to make you suffer. It goes out of its way to make sure that everything is extremely challenging. Yeah, and that's not what I'm about. Like, I make sure that there is challenge, but I don't go out of my way. Like, I don't like putting in bosses that there's only one way to attack them and beat them. Dark Souls very much has that kind of stuff. It definitely has bosses that it's like, this is the way that you do it, and you have to do it and be good at it. And I just don't like doing that. So at any rate, so yeah, so we'll have some bitch ass guys that'll just run away in there. It's just most of these rooms, because this is an old rundown place, are probably just gonna have a lot of busted up pieces of equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll do that with that room. I think that looks fine. Not much going on in that room. So let's do room number 3 now. Room 3. Okay, marker 3. Another combat room. So again, kind of the same process, same format. Enemies. So now this one. So we've got one easy combat in there. Like I always say, I do one easy, medium, difficult, deadly, and then the boss battle. So there's 5 potential combats in there. So now let's go ahead and just do a random medium one and see what it spits out at us. Quarter, half, and 1/8. How does that line up with what we've got here? We don't have the half, but I bet you, so what we'll do, a lot of times what we'll do also is, so let's get rid of the 1/2, and we want it to be medium. So if we add one more 1/4, 2 more, there we go. So we'll do 4 1/4s and 3 1/8, which is going to be what? 3 bandits and 4 4 goblins. Yeah, so enemies 3x, bandits, and again, copy and paste. Always a good idea to do a lot of copy and paste in your notes as the DM, because then stuff is just always there and available. 4 times. So we want the goblins here. Yeah, so there we go. So that's all we really need for that one. Let's see here. Much like room 2, these guys are not exceptionally loyal to the Eladrin, despite the attempts to brainwash them. They will enter. Let's see. For these guys, I'll say they will enter a fight in room 6 if it goes on long enough. But if the battle is over quick and they see the Eladrin running away, they will try to do the same. So that's just it there. If they feel like the if they feel like the Eladrin is not there to keep the mission going, they will say like, well, this was his mission, what are we here for? And they'll probably ditch out. Alright, rewards. So in this one, let's see, we're going to have 200 for the goblins and another 75, so 275 XP to split the players there. And then we'll pretty much do this one. I'm just going to copy and paste this, and we'll change the number of gold, because that's really what it's going to be. Random number of gold. There's a few more enemies, so we'll say 11 gold pieces. 711. Give them some good luck if they loot all of the bodies. Seems a little odd to reward that with good luck, but you know. Okay, so okay. Now, as far as the map for room number 3 goes, we don't need a whole lot there. I kind of want to do like a whole lot of rubble, just like piled up there in like one corner, as if part of the roof really caved in there. Oh, you know what I just thought of though? Now, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it, because it's not like there would be existing torches or anything in here. I just realized I haven't been putting up lighting, like sconces or anything like that. I mean, I could in theory put torches there, but it would have to, like, there wouldn't be just active torches randomly. So I'm not gonna worry about that. Yeah, this one wouldn't have a whole lot of stuff lighting up. So we've got that. And then if we want to do again some like, oh, here we go, a broken pillar. We can have like a broken pillar right there. Just to add a little bit of, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we have a bit easier time looking at one individual room at a time. If we do that, and then maybe like a busted up table that's just kind of like chucked in a corner like that or something like that. That makes it a little bit more interesting. All of that is just completely for flavor. Doesn't really need a whole lot else. Really doesn't need a whole lot else. So yeah. Alright. So now let's do our next our next room. So this is gonna be number 4 again, combat. So now this one is going to be our difficult combat. So it's really gonna be guns out blazing. So we're gonna do random hard. We don't have a half. I'm just gonna do another random hard here. Ooh, just like, yeah, there we go. We just do 7 of the quarters. So that's 7. What was that? That was the goblins, right? Yeah, 7 goblins. I like that. Hey, Eldritch. How's it going, man? Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, you just came in to brag that you got your own stream going there, Eldritch. I see how it is. Nah, I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate you. I appreciate you just stopping by to say hey. That's cool of you. I appreciate that. But let's see here. Enemies. Let's do. So we're doing goblins, and it was seven goblins. Just grab that, copy and paste that. Shameless plug. You're trying to. I see what you're trying to do. You're really just trying to. You're trying to snipe at any viewers that I might have. That's the dick move right there, buddy. Buddy boy. No, I don't care. I hope all viewers find something that they are entertained by, because it really is no affront to me. I have no income tied up in this. I'm just doing this for fun, and if people weren't watching, I'd be doing it the same anyway. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I can come in and plug on yours. I mean, if I really want to like actually be a streamer, I should probably learn how to do that type of stuff. I'm so bad at like selling and advertising myself. Like I'm so uncomfortable trying to brag myself. I tried rating before. But the thing, it just didn't work. I tried doing it. I tried doing the like, they even got the raid button and everything on the stream monitor thing, and it was all like, something went wrong, and I was like, fuck this, forget it, we'll try it again later. Yeah, that's what I'll have to do. Yeah, no, I really should get back to doing that. I have a lot to learn. In general, what it is, I have a lot to learn about how this works. Because my extent of streaming knowledge is like, hey, I can stream what I'm doing, and that's about it. I have no idea how to balance the, like, you know, finding ways to advertise and building communities and shit like that. I'm just like, I mean, I'm doing this anyway. I might as well stream it. I have so much shit to learn. Oh my goodness. Anyways, marker 4. So this room will have, let's see here. This room has many of the Eladrin's more loyal toadies in it. They are lying in wait to ambush anyone who tries to attack their leader, just because I don't want to keep saying the Eladrin and everything. That's just poor writing at that point in time. They're lying in wait to ambush anyone who tries to attack their leader. If the Eladrin runs or otherwise calls to them, they will burst out to intercept whoever is chasing him. Boom, that's it. They are effectively brainwashed and will fight to the death. Boom. So these guys aren't going to be stupid enemies. They're just there to run interference, and they will keep fighting until they die, happily. That's what they do. That's just what they do. Oh wait, what is happening here? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, there we go. Okay, and so then any rewards here? That's gonna be 350 experience points to split, 350 XP to split. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna, again, copy and paste. Let's see here. Except we gotta change it because it's not all bandits. On the dudes. Let's see. On the dudes. So this is like 7 people. Same number as in the previous room, just a bit more difficult. So we'll keep it close to the same amount of money. I don't know, 12 GP. Whatever. It's pretty arbitrary at that point in time. They just got pocket change. Copy that. Now, oh well, our next one will be that, but actually first I want to figure out exactly what is in this room. I think we can again just sort of do like broken table. We'll do broken table like that. Maybe some broken chairs and stuff. What's that? Oh, it's a broken totem. Wouldn't really be any totems around here. Doesn't look like a particularly broken pillar. Just stuff tipped over one. The heck is this? Oh, it's just a random chair leg. Just a sad chair leg. Chair leg, maybe another table over in that corner. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll give like some clay pots and shit in there. There, I don't know, fuck it. Hey, Space Crab, how's it going? Glad to see you. Glad to see you here. It's going pretty good over here. Hope the same is true for you. So yeah, we'll just do that, and that's just where all the goblins are hanging out. They're just chilling in there. They're hiding. Maybe when players run up, they're all like ducking under cover and like hiding below the window and shit like that. I can put them like all right up against here, so that if players are walking up, they wouldn't see them through the window that's right there. But then adds another fun thing though, because like players who are particularly discerning and seeing stuff, maybe they can get a better angle and they can see stuff like that. So there we go. So, oops, oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. Okay, I don't need to worry about that at this exact moment. Yeah. Oh, Eladrins, how are they handled in my world? Individually. This particular one was living in the Feywild, but then when the unhinging happened, he was displaced and has been unable to find his way back home, and so over the course of a century or two, because of wild magic and stuff, he's been kept alive, and he's just kind of going insane. So he is now basically on a mission to kill everyone in the main city in this area. So that's what's going on with that particular one. And then goblins and all that kind of stuff. Goblins are, they're considered, here's a fun bit of lore we can dig into, because I love talking lore. You guys know I love talking lore. What we can do, oh shit, where in my freaking, god damn it, show me my bar there. Goblin, oh god, no, not going down that road, not going down that road. Does suck for him. Goblins in general are one of what the terminology used in my world is enlightened races, and pretty much any race that is fair game as far as Adventure League goes is considered an enlightened race, and they are races that exist in communities that can coexist with all of the other races. Can coexist. They don't always coexist. There's certainly always the potentiality for conflict and everything, and that always does regularly happen. But goblins in general are accepted as an enlightened race, and though not super common, you will largely see them existing in the main sort of protected cities of this world. That said, they are a much more rough and tumble type of race, and so they tend to, it's more common that they will strike out and form their own small little survival communities out in the wilds, just so they can avoid all of the rules and stuff that kind of get in the way of their fun within the cities. So that's kind of what goblins are, and that's true of a lot of different races. But yeah, I do have them as an enlightened race, so that way you can still sort of have conversations and events and stuff that focus around them. Just because I don't, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, each approach has its own merits and everything like that, but I think it's more fun to have a much more colorful and diverse world than maybe what you would find in just like Lord of the Rings, where there's like 3 or 4 functional races and everything else is just not really considered. So I really like to have a world that's much more wide-reaching in terms of what kind of intelligent conversations you can have. So that's kind of what goblins are. These particular goblins, however, have been captured and brainwashed by the Eladrin, who is trying to build an army so that he can kill everyone. So that's what's happening with this one. Various degrees of success with the brainwashing, but that's kind of the situation we got going on here. But yeah, so that's room 4. Let's see here. Room number 5. Yeah, definitely. Hobgoblins, I do the same thing with. Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, is because this is a world that's intended to be for a game, I really like my players to be able to have just about as much freedom with their characters as they want. So it's like, if you want a fucking little goblin guy who runs around and like spends his whole time like literally being an ankle biter, like you fucking do that. And so by creating this world that is really inclusive of all of the different fictional fantasy races and stuff like that, it makes it a lot easier for players to have a functional backstory for why on earth their character exists. You know, like in a strict Lord of the Rings, type of setting where there's really very specific ones, there just isn't really room for an existence of a lizard folk without there being a whole lot of other lore questions that exist that revolve just around that one character, or you just have to accept that the character is this weird anomaly. And I honestly think that's actually a bit lame for the player, because it's just like, yep, nope, you're weird and you don't really have a background because we don't have a place for you in the world. So it's like, if we kind of do that, then there's like a reason for every race to exist, you know. And so it's like, if we were to have pulled up, I'm not going to do it right now, but if we had my whole world map pulled up, you know, I've kind of pre-thought out the regions that different races come from or primarily live. So which cities will have higher populations of this, that, or the other race based on that kind of stuff. And a lot of it's mostly climate and things like that. It also kind of informs, like, if they're going into the ruins of one region, is it more likely to be, you know, ruins of a turtle community, or, you know, or Elven, or Aarakocra, or something like that. And it just kind of adds a lot of flavor to the world that way too. So I really prefer having my worlds that way. Plus, it just gives me more stuff to work with creatively. I think it's kind of boring when everything is centered around either humans or extremely human-like other races. It's like humans, or humans with pointy ears, or humans but they're short, or humans but they're short and stronger than the other humans that are short. And it's like, you know, that's good for a storybook perspective because it makes it a lot easier to relate to the characters. But to a role-playing game where people really like to just let their imaginations go wild, I think it's much more interesting to just have a very diverse cast of characters, so to speak. So that's kind of how I handle all that stuff in my world. Where was I? Oh yeah, marker number 5. So this is, again, going to be a combat room. This one is, oh yeah, this is actually, wait, hold up. Yeah, oh yeah, we can move around here, and then which one was room 5? 5 was up here. So 5 is also going to have some enemies hiding up in here. This one is going to be, so this one, we want this to be our deadly combat, deadly minus the boss combat. So it wants us to do, I want to get rid of these ones here. Actually, no, that's a really bad one because we've only got quarter and eighth. So it's just going to keep giving me 1s and 2s, isn't it? Quarter, and then let's just find a 1/8 just so we can build the challenge that we need here. Max CR 1/8. There we go. It doesn't really matter actually what they are. I'm really only interested in using our challenge rating to help me sort of balance. It's just easier than trying to do the math on everything on my own. So I think we'll just, so there's not too many enemies, make it very top heavy in terms of adding the quarters versus the 8th. So yeah, 7 of the 1/4. So that'd be 7 goblins and 2 bandits in this dungeon. So enemies, again, just making our quick grab list so it's easy to find and grab what I need. 2 bandits. Copy that. Paste that. And then 7 of the goblins here. As you can see, I kind of added just like the option to flavor them as goblins or kobolds, so it's like they're all kind of the same size and would have the same things, but that way it's just a bit more interesting than everything else. I just give myself that option. So it's like, again, with the bandits, flavored as orcs and lizard folk, because a bandit is just sort of like a generalized like type of person, not actually a race or anything. So that way it's just kind of more what it is. And this Eladrin trying to build a brainwashed army would, you know, I figured he would be going for all of the like really big, broad, not so thinky races, which are definitely going to be like the lizard folks and the orcs and stuff like that. Yada yada yada, so on and so forth. So let's see here. This room has a lot of the Eladrin's big bruisers. we'll say these guys are very loyal, but not super smart. They listen to their orders a little too well, and will, oops, I guess I don't need a comma there either, and will refuse to leave the room unless the Eladrin explicitly says to. This means when the Eladrin makes his escape as is scripted, they will just sit there until players barge in. And that's just what they'll do. They're simple-minded folk. They don't really, whoops, oh, I'm spilling shit. Alright, no, that's not a big deal. They're just, they don't think much, they don't care. They were told to wait here, and that's what they will do. So I think that's, yeah, I think that's all we need. I'm gonna really quickly, I gotta run and grab like a napkin just to mop that up, because it's gonna piss me off if it's just sitting there on the desk and there's like this wet spot. So like, give me like 30 seconds. Got it. Save this situation. Do mop it up, mop it up. Mop it up. Gotta get all of it. Gotta get every bit of it. Gonna get it all. Gonna get it all. Space Crab, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's bothered by these types of things. They genuinely upset me. Genuinely upset me. A little bit of it got in between the keys of my spare keyboard here. Luckily, it's the spare keyboard is just a rubber membrane one, not a mechanical, so it really is not going to damage it at all. But it will sit in there all stagnant and make things sticky if I don't clean it up. So there we go. Okay, now we are good to go. We are good to go. And my cat is staring at me like I'm some sort of psycho. Make fun of me. I know. Best editor ever. She's here. She's actually what she is. She's my #1 audience member. Sorry to say, a lot of you guys come close. I appreciate all you guys that are regular viewers, but my cat here, she's got the rank of #1 because she's literally here for the entirety of every stream. Whenever I sit down, pretty much anytime I sit down at my desk, it's not even when I'm streaming, but anytime I'm sitting at my desk, unless she's chasing squirrels, she comes and she hangs out with me the whole time. She's a very good companion. Alright, anyway, where did I leave off? Yes, okay, we got a bunch of stupid people. Rewards here are going to be, let's see, I gotta do some math real quickly. That's 350 for those, plus another 50, so that's 400 XP to split. And then, again, they've got like shitty weapons and a few bits of pocket change. I mean, that's all they keep on them. Like, these guys are not, they're supposed to be fodder. Like the Eladrin does not care about them. He's captured them from like trade convoys and from small little communes and stuff of people who are trying to make it through the wilds on their own, maybe some other explorers and stuff. They're just people that he has captured up over the course of a couple years and tried to brainwash. He doesn't really give them anything. Basically, whatever pocket change they would have had when captured is what they have with them. But these guys are a bit more challenging, so we're going to give them 18 gold for the players to find. All in all, if they kill every enemy, they might have enough to buy a whole health potion. I mean, I don't want to make my players too rich, but just saying. Alright, so that's going to be room number 5. As always, like with this one, we'll put like a big pile of broken pottery. Like maybe there were just like a whole lot of pots and shit that were all around. There we go. Just a big old pile of broken pottery. Fuck, I don't know, man. Fucking knows. Oh, you know it would be fun, actually. You know it would be really fun. Hold on. This will be a fun one. This will be a fun one. We'll put the broken pillar. Put a couple broken pillars down below in the water there. So if anyone sees and is like more discerning, they'll see that like this part of the building is like sagging down into the water more than anywhere else. So it's like, oh yeah, here we go. And here's like another, and maybe what we'll do is we'll put like that and maybe a bit of like rubble here. So it's like that corner of the place is falling down, and maybe if like someone's swinging around a damn warhammer or some shit, I can make it so that on like a critical failure, they bust down the thing and fall into the water below or something like that. It's always fun to just throw in little bits like that. So we'll do that, and then maybe just a couple broken chairs that are lying around. There we go. There we go. And then they're just the stupid people that hit real hard are just like, they're hiding up in there. It's hiding all up in that business. All up in that business. Yeah. Yeah, that's easy enough. That is easy enough to handle. And then again, I don't put any tokens or anything to signify the enemies. I'll do that in the virtual tabletop, because I don't want them to be permanent objects in the map, obviously. So yeah, so we just do it that way. So there we go. So now, our last combat one, marker number 6, that is always where the boss battle occurs. Room 6 is always the boss battle room. 6, we'll do boss combat. Now, this one is a little weird because even though the real boss is the Eladrin himself, he is not the boss battle of this dungeon. This dungeon is again balanced. This is very early on in the hunt to take down the Eladrin. Players are sort of like, it's balanced for players who are level 2. So the boss of this is actually an Orug, who is very big and strong and very brainwashed, so that he can do a lot of damage to the players if they are not careful. So that's what we're doing with this one. Enemies here. The Orug is a challenge rating 2, if I'm remembering. Yes. So let's go ahead and get into our Kobold Fight Club here, and let's just do a max CR of 2. We'll just grab any 2 CR, put it in there, and now we'll balance it until it's just barely deadly, is the way I always do it. So yeah, so we could do that. Although actually, let's grab our 1/8 again. I'll go back down to 1/8. We actually don't have any of our 0 challenges either, so we're gonna do a 0 because we do have as part of it, we have of our potential enemies here. We have just commoners flavored as just like orcs that are really bad at fighting, orcs and lizard folk and stuff. So we can throw a couple of those in there as well, just to kind of fine tune the amount of challenge. But let's see here. So if we want to do, we can do, let's see, that's going to be a little too much there, even just with the 1/8. So we can just fine tune. So we'll do a couple commoners with the boss, and then 1 bandit. So the bandit's a bit better at fighting and stuff like that. The commoners obviously aren't excellent at fighting, but more than anything, they're just there to run interference. I absolutely love making sure that my boss battles have more than just the boss available for the fight. I think that no matter how tough the boss is, unless it's one that can just one-hit KO all of the players or something like that, in general, if it's just the boss, it's a very easy fight because everyone can establish their place. They can all wail on the boss, and the boss only has 1 turn to try and mitigate things. And there's just not a good way for a boss to handle that kind of stuff, especially if the players are smart and they disperse themselves so they are not all crowded around at one time for area effect type stuff. So it doesn't matter that the commoners that are going to be the enemies are very easy to massacre for the players. They're just there to distract so that the boss can have a bit more free actions and turns without getting completely blasted to damage the players and try to whittle them down, especially if it's not the first combat they've encountered. So that's really where it comes from. So our enemies are gonna have 3 of the, where are they? 3 of the commodores. Copy that and put that. Put it right there. 1. Whoops, nope. 1 times. That's where we're gonna put our bandits. So again, as always, so 1 bandit. Put that right there, and then 1. And then that's where we'll copy and paste our Orog, who is the boss. And I may just give a little lore too, just because I think it would be fun in case players decide they wanted to try and capture and unbrainwash any of them. I don't think it's going to happen. I think players are not going to want to go through the trouble of trying to transport a small army of enemies back to the city. Especially when they already have one of the brainwashed people captured at the city. That person being Gregor, the guy from the first mission of this whole storyline there. To interrogate there. I don't think they're going to want to go through the trouble. So, let's see here. This room is where the captain of this small band of brainwashed folk. Remember the captain of this small band of brainwashed folk. What am I trying to say here? This room where the captain of this small band of brainwashed folk is stationed. He is ready to run interference when the Eladrin comes running through. Oops. Through. So no death run is impossible in Dark Souls. Well, Spooky, if you're me, a no death run in any Dark Souls is impossible because I am the definition of mediocre at those games. Let's see here. So he's ready to run interference when the Eladrin comes running through. He and his group that stay with him are effectively brainwashed and will fight to the death. Boom. So they will not be trying to escape. Brainwashing is very convenient for that purpose. Don't really need to worry about would they be smart enough to avoid getting killed. If they're brainwashed, no, they would not be, or at least not in their brainwashed state. But it's also fun because brainwashing is something that you can sort of find story reasons and story abilities for players to undo that, which I think some players appreciate the chance to not necessarily just have to kill everyone. No, I know what you're talking about, Spooky, with there being a scripted death in there. No, I totally know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, scripted or not, I'm gonna die anytime I play Dark Souls. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Okay, so the rewards here. So we've got 30 for the poor commoners, plus 25, so 55. So 505, we're just going to say 500 XP to split. 500 XP to split. Let's see here. So we'll say, dudes will be, let's see, dudes will have various bits of crappy armor. So again, we're going to do that one just for the regular dudes. The regular dudes will do that. And then we'll say on them, on the dudes, is a total. I am going to give the boss a few things, but I'm going to write that out separately. On the dudes in this one, I'm going to take that away. We're just going to make 8 gold pieces for all of them. They're pretty squishy people. Let's see here. On the boss is crappy armor. On the boss is, so he's going to have a little bit more pocket change. So just on him alone, we're going to say he'll have 25 gold pieces. These are level 2 characters, and in this situation, again, just brainwashed minions. I'm not really looking to have them be a get-rich-quick scheme for players, but a fair bit there. But also, the other important thing is on the boss are 2 minor healing potions. He is meant to be the boss. He will have some healing potions. I may have him be smart enough to use them, but I'm thinking a brainwash thing. He would probably, like, you know, order of operations take care of things. So it's like he would have orders to use those if anyone is hurt, but the more important one will be if there are any enemies threatening the Eladrin, kill them at all costs. So I'm thinking that brainwash state, he would probably just kill everything and really not use his healing potions. So we've got 2 healing potions for players to loot off of him if they want to go corpse robbing, and that kind of gives us everything we need to. I am going to add just a bit of flavor here. During this fight, the Eladrin will be hanging out on the dock that is outside of this room and right by the mill wheel. As soon as the Orog dies, or if the players bypass and go outside, he will Fey step across the river. Yeah, he'll face step across the river, and make his escape. And we'll just do that, because this, like I say, it's scripted in this situation where the players are not actually going to be fighting the Eladrin. If they did, they would die. So it's really for their own good. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. If they come back and they're doing this as like level 15 players, then yeah, they'll have a real easy time, you know, wrecking his world. But it's meant to be this dungeon is meant to be balanced for level 2 players, and the Eladrin is itself kind of more of a level 10 players type of boss. So that's what we're gonna do there. So now, let's see. I do want to just add a few little decorations into this room here. Broken chair. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing shit around randomly. This is largely a very ransacked and empty place, and it was really just like a functional. It was always meant to be a functional. Ooh, here we go. Here's a broken pillar. We'll do a broken pillar right there with a little bit of rubble. Boom, just like that. But yeah, this was always meant to be just like a very empty, ransacked place. It's just kind of unassuming and out of the way, meant to be a good meeting place for people conspiring to kill the queen. Is really all that it's meant to be. So I don't really care that everything's kind of boring. There will be plenty of other dungeons to put much more interesting lore and whatnot into. But at any rate, so that's what we've got there for a battle. Appearance-wise, really don't need much more. So let's see, looking at my time, might run me a little over the time that I planned, but I've got a little bit of wiggle room in my schedule today. So I'm gonna go at it. I'm just gonna have us finish this dungeon because we're actually very close. We're very close to being done with this one. We've only got a couple more rooms to really have to take care of. Because 8, we've kind of already discussed what's going to be in 8, which is the surprise room, and that's where they're going to have set up a trap to sort of like collapse the floor, because the whole building's kind of lifted on the slope of the hill that leads down into the river. And so they're going to collapse it down, so it's a bit more challenging for players to get across there. The other thing that I want to do is I want to do kind of like a puzzle with that's something to do with this mill, so that if they like reactivate the mill, they can earn something. I don't know exactly how I want to do that. I'm wondering if I could just make it so that like there's sort of like through all of like the busted up bits of it, there appears to be something rather valuable hidden in the mill, but it's unreachable and they have to like turn it. So they would have to figure out how to fix and repair so that way this can like run and turn it, and then they would have to use like a skill to try and grab it. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Very vague with that rough idea, but I think that'll so let's just start with describing the room here. We'll just get going with it and start and figure it out as we go. That's like my #1 approach here. This room is where the spinning components, spinning slash functional components of the mill are stationed. Let's see here. Upon arrival, the mill is dysfunctional. That's not how you spell dysfunctional. Dysfunctional. But it is possible to repair it. If players examine the mill, they will see that something, we'll just say something shiny, appears to be trapped within the mill machinations. Is that machinations? I didn't feel like fighting with it that time. So what spell check is for. Trapped within the mill machinations. If they investigate, DC 10 will make it easy because that's kind of like the intentional thing. If they investigate, they will see that if they find a way to get things spinning, this shiny object will be knocked to a place that is more reachable. They can examine the workings of the mill under the building to see, I don't know, that there is a beam, not a mean, a beam that is, oh my gosh, I am just making up words as I go here, that is jammed and preventing the system from working. We'll say an athletics check, DC 10, will allow them to free up this beam and make the mill functional again. Once they do, let's say we'll say sleight of hand check, DC again 10, because I'm setting it like I always, the way I do my puzzles, the reason I'm setting these all to 10, I should probably explain that, is I always kind of have like a perfect solution to anything in mind, so that if players follow the steps and can discern the perfect solution, they'll have an easier time solving the puzzle. But really, I operate on the yes and mindset of all of this stuff, so that way if players are like, what if I try doing this? I can be like, yeah, you can try that, and then they'll just have to do it at difficult, which is 12 for this dungeon, as opposed to what I've sort of preset the easy DC check as. And these ones are all very easy because, again, it's like early level, so it's kind of more about giving new players confidence and stuff like that. So DC 10, even for level 2 players, is really easy, but I don't want them to feel discouraged if the dice are against them. So a 10 is pretty easy to achieve, and players will feel good about that. So they do a sleight of hand check. We'll let them quickly grab the item without crushing any fingers in the spinning mechanism. Boom. There we go. And then, so the reward for doing that, we'll say the reward for doing that is, well, let's see here. They're level 2 players. I'm trying to think about what would be an appropriate reward level for them. I don't have it off the top of my head. I don't remember if I gave myself a consistency guide. Maybe I did for what I wanted to for like rewards here. Did I set things up? I did. I need to sort of rework it, but for that, so 200 gold, that's about the range I was thinking of. Okay. So I don't really ascribe to using the economy as written in D&D. I find it to be pretty inconsistent, especially when it comes to like big ticket items. So I kind of have my own system in place that basically just tries to do a rough conversion of dollars to gold, where it's like 1 gold piece is worth like $10 or something like that. So I basically try to balance things that way. And so based on that, I have sort of like a reward balance system that I've come up with. It's not perfect, but the system that I use, I find, especially for new players, it's easier for them to adopt and get used to it because it's meant to be more of a direct conversion between real life money and D&D money. So that's just kind of how I do it. There's not, like, I wouldn't even necessarily advocate for it. There are many times when I'm not happy with the system that I have. Like I say, it's not about it being a great system. It's more about it being a slightly more accessible and understandable system. I don't know. I think it's hard to do it because I think things of value. I think the value of items was very different, back in medieval times. People valued something made out of glass much more than they would nowadays. So it's like something like a telescope would obviously be worth a whole heck of a lot more back then than it would be nowadays. Things like that. So it's kind of hard to, but I don't know. At any rate, reward. We're gonna say for this thing, we'll say, let's see here, reward. The shiny item was a slightly open coin pouch that must have once been a savings for we'll say the owner of the mill. It has approximately, actually, we'll not say approximately, it has 265 old pieces worth of coins inside. I pretty much always do everything based on just gold too. It's just so much easier than making people count up coppers and silvers and stuff like that. Players kind of end up doing that because, like, especially for the cost of like an inn or something like that, they still kind of do that. But for the sake of giving them rewards, I pretty much always do that. So worth of coins inside. It also has a couple gems. Oops, not gems with a J. Gems. A couple gems worth another 100 P total, and I oftentimes do give like a specific rundown of what gems and jewels there are, so if players want to get like super specific with their spell casting, they can. But I'm kind of bumping up against the end of the time that I have here, so I'm gonna not do that right now because it probably won't make a difference. Because a lot of times you can just say like, oh, it's all like common gems, and that's good enough for the sake of using them for like enchanting and stuff like that. But I don't know. I love doing my details. I love my details, but I'm gonna restrain myself this time around because I don't want to fuss over that for too long. So let me just add a couple broken things here. You know what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna mix it up. So there's gonna be like a broken chair, and then a broken table, right, like that. And then we're gonna over here do another table, another broken chair, like that. And then, but we're gonna make things really wild and crazy here. We're gonna put an intact chair. Can you guys believe that? Can you believe I'm gonna do that? Like, if I lost my mind, an intact chair. Wow, that chair's really big. Hold on. I guess that's just how they're gonna be. Okay, yeah, an intact chair right up there. Wowzers! I also want to just do some barrels and stuff that are lying around in here, because it's like if this was where the mill once was, I think that would make sense for there to be some storage. Did the music stop? Why didn't the music apparently stop? I don't know why the music froze. I'm not going to worry about it. We're towards the end anyway. I don't understand why the music froze. If I didn't want to, if I wasn't worried about getting copyright struck, I could sing American Pie, you know, Day the Music Died and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to get sued by major record labels, so we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. Okay, so we got just some stuff there. We got the things figured out. Let's see here, the twist room. Let's see. Oh, there goes the music. Now it's back. It just had to think about it for a minute. That's all. Let's see here. So the twist room. Let's see here. This room is rigged as a trap. When the Eladrin runs through, he triggers it, and the floor of the room gives way to the shortfall below. Shortfall below. Players will need to succeed at either jumping across or climbing up after falling to resume the chase. Falling, let's see, we'll just do, it is a short fall. If players critically fail to cross, they will receive 1d6 of fall damage. I don't want it to be a big damage causing thing. I want it to be super inconvenient. Oh, hey, look at that. A bot trying to get me to buy followers and viewers. Isn't that exciting? Time to lay down the goddamn bam hammer. Fuck these guys. Get out of here, you fake account. Fuck that shit. I hate that shit so much. God damn it. I don't need advertisements. I hate advertisements. Fuck that shit. Alright, moving on. God damn it, we were so close to the end and now my day is ruined. Not true at all. Not true at all. I'll just shake it off. Shake it off. I'll just get my Taylor Swift going and we'll shake it off. That's all there is to it. But I can't sing it because we just went over. I don't want to get copyright struck and all that shit. I don't know how seriously they take that stuff. I highly doubt that if I sang a verse or two, like a line or two, that I would get busted by anyone. But I don't know. I'm not gonna play games with that. I'm just trying to do this for fun, and it would definitely be a major killjoy if my account got busted for bullshit like that. So okay, so that's all that's gonna be in room 8. I don't even need to put any details or any design stuff in there. It really is just like a little hallway that the dude can collapse the floor in. That's all there is to it. There's really nothing to do there. 9 and 10, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to throw an audible. We're just going to make rooms 9 and 10, and I'm not just doing this because I'm looking at time. I'm also doing this because I think it makes sense. 9 and 10, we're going to throw an audible. We're going to have markers 9 and 10 be empty rooms. Let's see here. Whoops. No, come on. Give me my bullets. Give me my bullets. That's what I say every time I play any shooter, any survival horror game, really. Give me some bullets, damn it. It's on my mind because I'm replaying the Evil Within series right now, just on my own time, just for funsies. And god damn it, you're just always out of ammo in those games. I mean, you wouldn't be if you were better at them than me, but I suck at them, so I'm just always out of bullets. It sucks. Marker 9 through 10, empty rooms. The fact is, this is an old building that has been abandoned for centuries. There is very little that is interesting to find. These rooms may end up being battle spots depending on how things go. Otherwise, they are dusty and empty with remnants of old chairs, tables, and crates. Boom. That's it. That's all there is to it. We don't need to do anything. Normally, room number 9 would be where I'd put like the reward for the dungeon, which is sometimes a story-based thing, and sometimes it's just like straight up money and treasure chests and stuff. It depends on the nature of it. But because I'm tying a reward in with marker number 7 there, I've given the players just sort of the monetary gain that this dungeon has to offer already, and I don't know. I do tend to be kind of stingy about giving my players loot. I feel like if a game is too loot heavy, it becomes much more about, like, for players, it becomes much more, you know, of a shopping endeavor situation. And I think D&D is better spent, or at least their time and energy are better spent exploring places and finding unique, fun items as opposed to just buying them. So I tend to lean more on give them enough money for like the big ticket things that they might want. You know, a ship, or at least transport on a ship, a house to use as a base, hiring an enchanter to get something done for them, things like that. I will try to make sure they have money enough for that kind of stuff once they get to appropriate levels, but I really don't like giving them all kinds of random cash willy-nilly so they can just go and buy whatever +1 armors and stuff they want. It's much more fun for players if they actually earn that stuff. They actually find it in the world. So I tend to be stingy with money and much more liberal in terms of giving them fun items. This dungeon is a little bit different because this is a very story-focused dungeon that just, I mean, it's an old abandoned mill. It's not like anyone was housing an armory in here or anything like that. There's not a whole lot of value in here. But at any rate, that's why I got rid of room number 9. And room number 10, as always, I always try to include a room that is like designed as almost like a save room, right? Where it's like it's an easy room for them to barricade and take a long rest. So that way, if there's, especially once we get later on and there's longer mega dungeons and stuff, there's the opportunity for them to get that long rest that they'll need, but they have to get there, they have to earn it, and then they still have to find a way to barricade it. So it's not like they can just be like, okay, we're just going to sit here and take a long rest while all of the monsters patiently wait for us to bust into their rooms. It's like, no, you know, if you want to do that, you got to find a room that you can barricade. So it's not like quite so game mechanic as this is the only place you can take a long rest, but it's more so like when they find the room, I describe it as a room that, you know, oh, this room only has one entrance and it looks like you could barricade it really well. This would probably be a good place for a long rest if you wanted to. You know, maybe not, probably not even say that last line. Just give them that as a room. So like, this would be a good place to take a long rest, and they can do that. And then because they've taken the time to do that, the long rest risks aren't going to be there for them. So at any rate, that's what room number 10 is. And I'm not doing that in this one because this dungeon is a fast-paced. They're chasing after their guy, and he's just going to get away. And if players want to stay afterwards, they can, but most of the enemies will be gone at that point in time. And there really won't be much of a need for them to have a safe house or a safe room part of it. So that's why I'm getting rid of those. Now the last thing to do, I'm going to do this really quickly. Like I say, I'm getting close. I'm bumping up on my time. I gotta be logging off pretty soon here. I do want to do some potential outcomes here. And really, so the potential outcome really for this one is the Eladrin is aware that people are after him. Players are aware of who is orchestrating all of this nonsense. I'm going to say also potentially, depending on what players do, toadies can be captured to learn more about the Eladrin and what he is up to. Let's do that. So yeah, I think that'll do. I guess the only other thing that I just want to do is just for the sake of making it not too bland and monotone here. We'll do that to make things a bit more interesting. Just add some more of those like crates and barrels and stuff. We'll do that in room 10 as well. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. We can do that. Maybe put one more crate there, and then let's just grab some broken shit to throw around here. Oh, no, I don't want... There it is. That's what I'm looking for. No. Crate. We want... we'll just do broken. It's the easiest way to find shit. Put a sad broken pot, like, on top of that one. Maybe a broken chair sitting in that corner there. And then here, maybe... Here's what we'll do. We'll do a... Where's what I'm looking for here? That's what I'm looking for. Do like a broken table there. Another one over there. And we'll grab a couple chairs. One more there. And then let's grab just like another table and put that right there. There we go. I don't know. That spices it up. That just makes it a little less boring. I should probably do the same in room number 1 as well. Like, I don't want everything to be just like so monotone and boring. No, we don't want a big concrete wall. This is really fit. I've kind of been playing fast and loose with this one too. It's like a stone thing for a house that's mostly made out of wood, but you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. The resources you got. And then I don't know. We'll put like a pillar resting on top of that. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, there we go. Look at that. We got it. We got a pretty good dungeon, and I'd say that dungeon's pretty much finished. That's good progress, baby. We are plugging away. We're plugging away and making some good progress here. I enjoy that quite a bit. I enjoy it quite a bit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's really a whole lot else that I want to do with this. I think that's good. I think that is very good. And I am happy about it. So with that, I guess I'll get ready to log off and everything. So thank you everyone for stopping by. I appreciate that. Do you guys want me to try doing a raid again? I failed miserably, just pathetically at it last time. But I'm willing to try it again and see if we can get that going. Yeah, let's try doing that again. Hold on. I'm gonna bring us up here and fuck me if I can. I'll see if I can figure it out. I don't know. First thing we got to do right is I got to try and find someone to raid, right? That's the first step, right? I got that right. So we're going to just load up, because I don't actually have Twitch itself open. I have my streaming software open, and I leave Twitch closed, so that way my computer isn't working too super hard on things to try and find stuff. But let's just go there. Let's watch. I'm going to go there, and like there's going to be all kinds of noise coming from everywhere. Okay, good. Everything's muted. So, I don't know. Let's see here. So, we'll go to browse. What should we try and do? Should we try and find someone else doing some D&D stuff? Like, that's a good one, right? Leave one D&D stream, go to another, so that way it's, like, still what you guys are interested in watching. I don't know. Fuck, man. I don't know what I'm doing. What the fuck is this? How do I Twitch? I don't fucking know this shit. I feel like my grandpa. Like, I suddenly have a whole lot of respect for my elders now. I get it! Let's see here. Let's see. Let's go to Dungeons and Dragons category. Let's see who's streaming some Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. Let's find someone. Let's find someone that's got like no viewers, and we can just go give them. I feel like Grandpa. Fuck it. Yeah, that's fine by me. I can do that. I don't know who that is, but it's gonna be great times. We're gonna go raid them. Let's give that a shot. All right, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try it. Okay, I'm gonna try doing it within my software that I'm using here. Okay, so I go raid channel, and we pick a channel. Like it comes up and it says pick a channel. So I'm gonna try and do that. Oh, I see. You're just making fun of me. Okay, it just clicked to me. Okay, I gotta stand up more. You're just making fun of me for saying a grandpa. You're saying a hashtag. That's not an actual streamer. Jesus Christ, I thought you picked out a streamer for me. Holy shit, I feel really stupid right now. But I'll admit it. I'll admit that I'm being a dumbass, and I'll admit that I need to stand up so jokes don't go over my head quite so much. Oh my god, holy shit. I don't know. There looks like there's someone, looks like there's a group maybe playing Curse of Strahd. Or maybe he's just like planning Curse of Strahd. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got Curse of Strahd going on there. What else do we got going on here? I'm trying to find people that have got like 0 or 1 viewer. We can just have them go in there. Should we find a group that's playing? Do you guys want a group that's playing D&D, or do you want a group that, or do you want a guy that's doing some, that looks like they're doing some writing or mapping or something like that? It's hard to tell just from the thumbnails what people are doing. Let's see here. I'm just trying to pick out and see if I can find a couple that look like. It looks like most of them are games that people are playing right now. So you might have to do that. Let's see here. What's this one doing? I don't know. Fuck me, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Here we go. Here we go. Let's just do. Let's do. I don't know. Fuck me, man. I have no idea what I'm doing. I hate this. I feel so on the spot now. Okay, let's see. This guy's got its title. He's got it labeled as Curse of Strahd going on right now. So I'm gonna send you guys off. I'm gonna send you guys off to that one, and we'll see what he's up to with Curse of Strahd. That's what we'll do. Fucking okay. Now I gotta search for his name here. Holy shit, he's got a long name. Okay, Tharizdun. What's he got? Tharizdun, the Mad Spiral God. Jesus Christ, dude. Dune, the Mad Spiral God. Is that it? Is that how I do it? There we go. Yeah, we got the preview. Okay, okay, that's the one. That's the one that I had seen. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna press start rate and let's see if it works. All right, here we go. It looks like it's working. It looks like it's working. I don't know. Let's do it. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Let's go rate them. Let's fucking do it, you guys. Hell yeah. I don't fucking know if it's working, man.
Can I use my right? Those are the intimidating the the what is it? The the
Digger.
the grave yeah, the grave diggers. Can I use my animal handling to speak to our local grave animals to see if they have any clue about where this guy hides stuff?
So you said two things. One, intimidate the gravedigger. Two, do an animal handling on any grave animals you find. Would you like to
Yes,
decide which of
I'm
those two you
talking
want to
about the
do?
second option.
Okay.
I'm talking about the second option.
Which one of the two options are you going to go with?
Animal handling, sir.
Okay. Well, alright. Well, hey, Bud, good news for you. You find a dead, rat.
I'm touching it and like I'm scared. But say my scare stolen bones.
um, this is a real, tough cookie. Despite your best intimidation, he doesn't even flinch.
He doesn't. He's a good. He's a good secret keeper. You
He's gonna
can't
take
break
the
him.
secret to his grave.
Oh no!